Peace and blessings, royal family. This is kind of weird. Is it right this way? I guess I could work with it this way. Let's get started. Before we get started, we like to play a little music, get the day started. Say peace to the gods. It was a beautiful morning this morning. I learned a lot. That's why it's going to be a beautiful day. I'm letting everybody know you're going to have a good day today. Trust me. This is a little proof of it because we all go through our problems, but we really don't have any problems. We really have darkness, but we really don't have no darkness. We have bills, but we really don't have no bills. So once you get the theory, everything is going to be good. I had some important lessons taught to me today by the ancestors, and I want to share them with you. Angels, higher beings that's here that nobody can see. It's afforded only to some, not everybody, And these things help us as seers, gurus, higher beings, people who have this ethereal energy to share it with everybody. Not too many people understand us. We like the peoples that's hidden in the Hermetic system, Buddha, Sanskrit people that's hidden high up in the mountains. Stuff we go through, people kill us for, chase us away, just like Jesus. They call the zealots of the world, the Magi's, the Essenes. This type of people left the Coptic information that is downloaded through this thing that nobody can understand, nobody can explain. People got in touch with it, such as Thoth, who is left here as the Emerald Tablets. Emerald Tablets been translated over and over and over again to be from the Sanskrit books, to be our holy books, to be the Christian Bible, to be what everybody in Egypt worship about, to be the mysteries, to be alchemy, to be everything, modern chemistry, astrology. And so once you understand that, you start to understand there's something deeper going on. Why all this hieroglyphs? Why everybody going to Egypt? What's this about with consciousness? Who am I? What's in reference to this working energy blockage, kundalini? It's a lot going on. But we, growing up, I think he's doing the actual recording. No, I'm not doing the recording. This is live. But I'm telling y'all stuff that Rising Lizzie, I gotta, you gotta let me know which way you try to reach out to me so I can actually get back in touch with you. I don't know, where is it on Messenger? Can't hear me? Hold on, let me see if I could. I think it's the headphones. Could you hear me now? Is it the music or do I have to plug in some headphones? Could you hear me now? Let me know. Because Messenger? Okay, I haven't been on Messenger in a long time. So I'm going to check my Messenger. So I'm going to get some headphones. Let me plug in some headphones. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Really? So, the best way to contact me was through the WhatsApp. That's my actual phone number. That's at 876-294-7297 number. That's how everybody been hitting me on the WhatsApp. And Messenger's kind of weird for me right now with everything that's going on. Yeah, definitely Quad YL. That's one of my beats right there. We working on some stuff. Let me balance this out real quick now. Are we good to go? Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for artists too. I want to link up in a different type of way. Yeah, you got it now, Rising Lily. So hit me up now. You can WhatsApp each other, whatever, video chat, everything there. So yeah, I'm looking to link up with some artists too, so that we could actually, I do beats. I got the studio shit and everything, from Logic Pro or whatever, and we can literally do it through WhatsApp. You send as long as it's to a tempo, what I'm saying, the instrument, the acapella, really. If you're a artist and if you're a producer, you just send a beat. And seriously, I could use it for when I really start. I'm in ascension. I'm really supposed to have been in 5 years of isolation and no talking for 5 years, and not to nobody. But I break it because it was kind of scary, and this is where we're at now. So my 5 years is almost up, so I'll be out ready to start my venture into the world and business and everything. All right, rising ladies, have a blessed day. All right, talk to you later. And so with that now, I'll be able to. Could y'all hear me now better? I just noticed this the side with the mic. This sound better now, right? All right, that should. But anyways, now I want to get the music going where we could actually start doing music together. Ah, there you go. All right. So I should start the whole show all over. Go back to the beginning. But I'm not. It's all good. Some things wasn't meant to be heard. That's how the ancestors work too. They glitch out things so you won't be able to hear. They actually cut off Wi-Fi's and make your phone pictures disappear. I started realizing that early in it when I was trying to post on Facebook and pictures I took of them or just weird things I wanted to say. That even made my throat chakra like choke, and I couldn't even do it from especially songs or whatever I was trying to rap on. So they have ways of actually shutting you down, and not too many people know there's a date, and it's so weird. It's like you have in a world and a regular world, and so there's a difference between the two. And if you don't really know the two, you're gonna actually be confused and judge the other. And this is where you would get your good and bad and morals and unmorals and heresy and everything, because we have different frequencies to life. So today's topic, we're talking about happiness as the cause of all the diseases. You'd be like, that's some profound things to say, Enki. People is here trying to get some knowledge, and you're trying to say our happiness got something to do with our diseases? And it does. Is it the ancestors or the system? It's the ancestors. The system is new. Ancestors is old. You got to think about it. If it was the system, right, then it wouldn't be documented on hieroglyphs, papyruses. So there wasn't no system back then, so it can't be the system, but they was documented before the system. Think about it like that before you even say, is it the system or them? They was here first. And look at it like that. You're them. When you figure that out, then you get it. When you're not them no more, it's a whole different you. You see them. You go to war with them. You fighting them. Until then, you're them. Everybody's working for one system, the universe, and carrying out a universal cause that they don't even know they self. You're still the first person that was here, just in another body. Your consciousness is only a program of what you experience. You don't know who you are. You don't know what make you think. You don't know what make your endocrinology system go off to make you have experiences, feelings, emotions. It's not you. It's your reaction to something that causes a chemistry that make you feel something, that make your mind project a picture in your head. What you read and what you watch and what you encounter, it makes a repetitive cycle. So you eat once, you eat twice, you eat 3 times. You go to sleep, you make these cycles that you create for yourself, but none of it actually has anything to do with who you are. Who you are is not why all this is happening. Figure out why. That's the magic word, why. If you get to the end of your why, you will realize none of you is you. The simplest one is looking at the ancients, how they actually, in the ancient zodiac, have certain part of the body organs connected to zodiacs, right, to different astrological bodies. So that's telling you your organs is governed by the zodiacs, the stars. One thing we do with the stars that we don't realize is that we say, look in the sky, we see a star, and then you look and you say, look, it's our sun. How is our sun a sun when those is a star? We see them as two separate things. Listen to ourselves now. This is a star and this is a sun. But if you was in Cyrus star system, wouldn't the Earth look like a star to you? This Earth sun will be a star. So are we living with a sun? You understand where I'm going with this? But we see two perceptions of the same thing and separate them and have them in two definitions. But it's a star is a sun and the sun is a star. But the bottom line is we're looking at all suns. When you're looking up into the sky, you're not looking at a star. You're looking at a sun. So with that in mind, then you get to realize there's something deeper here. That when we say we're a star, you're looking beyond the sun and over the sun. But when you realize that the stars are suns, then yours is right in front of you. Your answer is right there with your sun. Think about it. So everybody is a sun, not a star. First things first. And then when you realize that you will interact more with the sun, then you start to realize the sun has a greater influence upon you. When you even just look at the circadian rhythm, and you look at Egyptian mythology of how they say about the traveling of Ra throughout the Tuwa, you know, the book of Tuwa. All those tell you about the same circadian rhythm as the sun goes around the earth. And you get two different frequencies. You get Horus and Set. You get night and day, darkness and light. And so all these have a profound effect upon your psychological system and your endocrinology system throughout the course of the day, to the point where the doctors have to tell you to turn down your phone screen at 5 o'clock. Set a different light. Why? Because it actually influences the chemicals in your body. So how could you be you when something outside of you could push upon you and make you do something you don't want to do? You have no idea you could do. You have no idea that it has an influence on you. So you get to see it's more going on here, that if somebody know a little bit more than you, could take advantage of you. And you would be just the happy one. This is the topic about being happy. What is being happy? Think about it. Everybody have their own definition of what being happy is. No two person is going to have the same definition of happy. That's where it fucks up at. That's where everything get bad at. You know why? It's not universal, so it's not true. It's an illusion. So when you do take happiness in its common sense of what it is, it's individualized, and every individual person is out of this whole world is seeking out happiness, that same happiness under that term happiness, but it's all a different definition. So this is where you get evilness and perverseness and a whole bunch of craziness happen, because people is seeking out happiness. Everybody is seeking out happiness. So that's the cause of everybody's problem in this world, happiness. You know, there's something that trunks happiness, but I'm going to go more into happiness so you understand why this is the problem. I thought the sun is a focal point from outer space light. No, the sun is a living entity. It's God. It's the being. It's the sun. It's real. Unless you change your thought process, it'll never work for you. Your magnetic field will never come alive. You'll never see what's in lights of the rays. I'm not even going into sunlight. How you look at it in this whole aspect. We're talking about one ray of light. You're looking at photons, and actually particle and particle elements, subatomic world. You have to have those visions. Sun stare will get you open to those visions as your third eye open. So don't look at the sun as an inanimate object. Look at it as a living being, and the gods will come alive. If not, you're on your own. It's whatever the government tell you you believe, because you just said a statement that was more programmed to say that than actually from your own experience. You understand what I'm saying? It's a difference. When you experience something, you could tell me and describe what it is. If I tell you don't touch the fire, and you don't touch the fire, and I ask you how fire feel, how you going to tell me how fire feel? You're going to describe it to me like how somebody else describe it.
But if you touch the fire, you could tell me what it feel like. So that'd be the only difference. That's the only difference. You have to know from experience. You have to go play with the sun yourself. You can't tell me what people say, and you can't tell me that's what you drew that conclusion yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So that would take us out of the pseudo way of living and this fake way of how we seek happiness through ego by just saying something somebody else said. And we regurgitate it to somebody else, even though we have no proof of it. We need to take that out of this whole consciousness and put a different consciousness in here, be real. And if we be real, we be out here exploring shit instead of stop taking shit for face value of what somebody else say. And that's what the problem is. So once you realize that, you go out there and do your own research yourself and find out, because everybody been lied to. You got two groups of people here. You got people here who use their conscious mind. You got people who live in their subconscious mind. The subconscious mind people are spiritual people. They see beyond the physical body. They see auras. They see vibrations. They see light. They see colors. These other worlds afford them to see a little higher, like animals or cats or dogs, to hear more like animals, like cats, like dogs. That gives them a better perception of those who just see the physical, which is just the conscious mind, which is just like an analytical mind to just see what it sees. Because what it sees is only what it was told that was there. It's not literally what was there. It's your program to see that. That's why TV is a program. Radio is a program. When you listen to them, they cause sensations upon your ears, your eyes, which send off signals to your endocrinology system that you feel emotional in a movie. You're ready to get hype at a karate scene. You think you're Superman when the X-Men movie come on. All of these is emotional feelings, the sensations being picked up by your neurons that picks it up and interpret it with chemicals to make you feel these things. So sometimes you have to realize these things ain't good for you because you become programmed to these things and you believe these things. When in reality, you're only supposed to believe what you experience. And what we experience? Nothing. Go to work, come home. Go to work, come home. So we lack experience. So we believe anything. You understand now? So the only way you could do that is by going experience. I don't mean to get off the subject, but I want you to understand how happiness is supposed to be played out in its proper sense. Happiness in its proper sense is called peace, nirvana. When you give peace, it trunks happiness because you're not seeking anything. When you seek something, that's happiness. You only want it temporarily. It's not for long term. And by you only seeking it for temporarily, once you get whatever you were sad about that made you happy, say it was this, once you obtain it, now you're not happy no more. This is now something else you're going to need to make you happier. So you're going to set a new level of happiness and you're going to go get that. And this is a continuous cycle. Like from you first getting your first pair of sneakers, you was happy. Now you need a fat pair of jeans to go and now you're happier. And now you get the outfit and the earrings and you're happier. And next thing you know, you get your hair done, you're happier. Till you get the car, then you're happier. Then you get the house and you're even happier. You understand? So this goes on and on. Well, look at it in the simplest context. For every happiness you seek out, it's still karma to it. It's a wave or ripple you send out and it has to come back to you. So even if it looked like your happiness is not costing anybody else's happiness, it actually subject you to something. You're subject to it now when causing your happiness. It's like a contractual bind that you just made. Only heard him from a week. He has so much as a personality. We've connected. Thank you, Monica Suzette Branfield. Eve. Nice name. I like that. Definitely. So once we realize that happiness is not where we want to go, you understand? If you got that feeling inside of you, get rid of it. This is like you have self-doubt inside yourself. You are actually those type of people who seek out happiness is kind of overweight most of the time because or overzealous or have an extra amount of energy with them. This is because they're not showing their true self. This disorder is actually the first stage of eating wrong, and you can see that when I say they're overweight, it's not because of you could say that's the category they come from, because they're eaters for pleasure. Like say they feeling some type of sadness, they'll go eat it off instead of actually dealing with the problem themselves. They'll start eating more, so their weight fluctuate but it seems like they're always in problems, and it becomes normal to them. And so in living in that frequency, happiness now become hiding that whole image from everybody. So they pretend now. They come out with a look, a feel, a mask, and this is their happiness. But behind that, they don't feel good about themselves, and it's a lot of things they don't want to face. So happiness has a psychological thing to it. When you see somebody giddy and stupid, they really not facing their own truth. So you got to understand that. And so happiness is the cause of a lot of our diseases, in the sense of we won't face our dark side, the true us, what we are on the inside. And it becomes now like a place where all of our, we harbor our um, fear, anxieties, our pride. All of this is the part of the ego's energy to overwhelm you. You see, it's something that protects you. Anytime somebody come and try to offend you and you stand up for yourself, you have something that comes in your darkness that actually goes in your ego, to give your ego the strength to stand up and say, nah, fuck that. This is what it is, yo. And then that's when you don't realize you're creating something if you don't let it back out now. And so a lot of us ain't grounded. The word is grounded. Did you ground yourself after that confrontation? Purify back your macabre or the field when you and that person interacted. They came in your field and it became a battle for who's going to take the energy. And so once you realize you kept up your side and you kept your energy, you're wearing that person's energy too. And so only way you could take this person energy off of you is by purifying yourself. Remember, energy you can't destroy. So a lot of people, yo, I'm killing this in the astral, I'm killing this. How could you destroy energy? How could you kill energy? You can't. So the magician know the truth to displace it, to move it from here to there, because energy can only be displaced, move from one spot to another in its right place where it goes. But there's nothing in this universe that could be destroyed. You know, once you realize that, a lot of us will stop and do the contention and saying we fighting up there, we got swords and we killing, and we got these negative entities and this and this. It's a whole bunch of things that we're the cause of all the trouble up there. And this is all because we're seeking our own self-happiness. We want to be this, we want to be that, we see this as that. So once you realize this, you turn it down and start humbling yourself, and you'll understand nirvana or peace is actually what we're seeking in form of happiness, because it has no repercussion. You know, when I say happiness in the sense of peace, when you come across somebody, instead of you wanting peace and be like, peace, you give them peace. Leave them the fuck alone. When you want to show love and you want people to give you love, give them love by leaving them alone. Sometimes we disrupt other people's resonance, other people's magnetic field, and then thinking we're bringing peace to them when we actually fucking with them. And that's what's going on with a lot of people with this happiness thing, and disturb other people's peace. Only way you can give peace is by leaving. You understand what I'm saying? You want peace? Give peace. You want love? Give love. That's how it works. But if you want hate, you're going to give that too. So that's what everybody needs to exercise for them to understand this. All right, so let's keep it moving now as far as on this. I'm going to tell you how it's to help remedy yourself against when you get these sicknesses that eventually lead to diseases. Let me see. These is the line of crystals that I'm doing now. These are about to leave. But these is actually calcite crystals. I'm going to speak up on these while we're here. I think this camera and the lighting is terrible. But what we're looking at right now actually help ground you, help balance out your energies. You know, it was tests done on calcite. This is honey calcite too. Let me see if I block some of the light. There you go. Honey calcite, and you'll be able to actually use this to help heal yourself by just keeping this on you. It helps ground these energies that we're talking about. And honey calcite actually is a chakra opener. It opens up all the chakra, and this is 100% spiritual. Meaning such like if you're meditating with it, it actually will increase the power of your meditation, brighten up your darkness in there. It actually will actually turn into other beings that comes upon the crystal that will be a spiritual guide through your journey in the spirit world if you go into the spirit world. Here's another one. And actually, these, when the scientists and everything, I like this one because it got the little boy right here. If you can see his little face, you see him standing, this is his body, you know. It's like they did a test on this calcite crystal, honey calcite, and it actually blocks out all the lower frequencies of the magnetic, of the electromagnetic spectrum, and only letting high frequencies, three high frequencies that they said this, it's a rhomboid or rhomboid, that word for the three, the Trinity. So this is give you like the same type of look of a quartz crystal, but this one now, it blocks low vibratory frequencies, all of them, infrared, ultraviolet, all the low frequencies. So you only get the higher beings out that come out of it. Now the way this works, it's actually spirit crystal. When I was first doing these research, it was into the God of the White. I was researching West Africa more than crystals. And I started learning about Obatala and learning about how Obatala was called God of the White. You see this? This is beautiful. See how we reflect the light in there? And this God of the White actually was responsible for creating the black, or the Dwa, which was the feminine principle of it, which gave me a lot of information into Ifa, Orisha, the first parts of religion, and all the different crafts that we see now that everybody's practicing. It started like with that, and when me learning about Abatala, who I call Obatala, and God of the White, I bumped into these white crystals came into the picture. They, to prove his existence is real, just like the Hat Man, the one you see, the black hat right here with the little face, is real too. I always profess that you see it sideways too. If you look sideways, you see the Hat Man right here in it. You see the man with the hat? All my crystals is codified with the Hat Man in it. These are spirit crystals. Now in the light, they're just gonna be mad reflective. Hold on, I'm on this side. As you can see, they be mad reflective. This is raw. It's just a broken off piece. I sell them in chunks like this, so you just get the raw crystal with its full energy. And you can see the dragon right here with the head, his arms right here. You see the thing on his back. These now work as a double crystal. In the daytime, these just up your health, and you wear them for protection. They're amulets. This blocks out from those frequencies that I said, negative energy of human being thoughts. These are thought forms. So you're able to block out thought forms with these. So now also with these is also good for at nighttime now. They turn into spirit crystals. So you see the difference when it turns into nighttime, you start seeing the beings come out of them. That's when you start seeing like this guy right here, this one here, the heads. You gotta have the spiritual eyes to see the little peoples in there. This is what came with Abatala. He was the one who made me able to see into crystals and see the God of the black. I mean the God of the white that created the black. And so you see them up here. This is able to read and see into this now by you using these crystals. It actually unlock your perception and unlock your chakras. So this people carry in their pocket, you know. So I keep now, I make a lot of what's called pocket pieces. These will be pocket pieces you just put in your pocket, and they will just protect you. So these also you could do meditations with and stare. As you can see, the Hat Man is there as usual. And you know, it got the creatures. You see the teeth of the beast. This is the eye. This is the nose right here. All my crystals got a message in it. You see the Hat Man right in the center with the hat right here at the top, the cowboy. See his face right here. It's always is my signature. You look at him right here on the side. Look at this picture of him on the side if you see right here. Everybody is there. So these how these crystals will work. And I'm also having them in this type of way too now. Yes, definitely. These is actually chakras that help heal. These bring you back in and help heal you or whatever. So these right here, you do meditations with these, and these will align back your energies. So these is like they make my ears ring, to be honest with you. So these will help you on your mission. If you're looking for any of these, all of these is gonna be available. I got a whole bunch. But really that should be enough to explain about what's going on. But the crystals is gonna be available, and I do recommend that everybody look into it to get it. Now, I wanted to read about the spheres of balance to you because I always said I was gonna do that, but I never got the chance to do it. Let me grab this real quick. All right. I think this gonna help y'all have a better understanding of like just the chakras, everything in general. Because I was writing this for on my Facebook, but I decided that I'm gonna just put it into a book. I was writing it right when I was going to get my permit, but it was enough for it to make some type of note that it's gonna be like a little book. So I'm gonna read some of it, and I think y'all get a better understanding of the spheres, how the body work, by you hearing this. Let me pull this up. Okay. This is called balance. Here we go. As I wrote myself, I'm not reading somebody else's writing. I just jotted this down. I was going to make it a Facebook post, but this is what it is. If you was being driven in a car sitting in the middle of a back seat, if the driver is driving on a straight road, your balance becomes unconscious. But as the driver enters curves and turns, your unconscious attention becomes aware and your mind starts to calculate distribution of your weight. In observing your unconscious distribution of your weight, you start to recognize forces your body projects in order to keep balance and orientation. In this observation, one familiarizes oneself with the concept of the many spheres that encompasses the biophysiology system, which maintains equilibrium. These spheres become tangible as one starts to practice union of forces, such as yoga, qigong, meditation, or sports. But these spheres also applies to intelligence, contemplation, studying, learning, or just enjoying nature, just as the driver no, okay, and enjoying nature. So just as the driver merges onto a straightaway, we release our balancing sphere to resume our unconscious being. One do not have to wait for the driver to enter a curved road to reinforce our balance of our spheres. These spheres mirror our lives, first through our breathing, then trickling down to our thinking and our choices, our mental state of being and our demeanor and our characteristics and personality, eventually affecting our physical health. The results of the above observation can be verified in this physical world by simply observing your shoes. Observe the distribution of the weight at the bottom of your shoe and which side it leans to. One can start to reconfigure their spheres by realizing which side of their brain they're grounded to, which would be the opposite side of the shoe indentation or erosion. My conclusion is the choices of objective and subjective is the grounded. Not, hold on. My conclusion is the choices of objectives and subjective is the grounded, not in their center, but in half or the other half of the objective or subjective mind, with a balanced sphere within each one. The psychological effect is of night versus day. Though through proper breathing and meditation techniques, spheres start to realign on their own. The process happens over time with resulting varying depending on such things as eating habits to condition of being, environmental and socially. Spheres are magnetic by nature. The concepts of spheres are designed to be counterbalances to create inertia. Spheres reside in the wave or the unified field. The unified field or wave symbolically can be represented as a seed or an egg that spreads like spider webs or tentacles trickling down and cloaking all forms, organic and inorganic, in all aspects of the electromagnetic field. We can identify the spider web as we observe our own magnetic field in our own body and aura. Well, spheres, when observed, seem to be magnetic in nature, and opposite or counter to our even greater magnetic force. This greater magnetic force is an opposite in polarity from other spheres, but they work as one unit. Imagine the first drop of a pebble into a pond. The inertia being the great force produces the second force, which is the ripples. The ripples would be symbolized as the spheres, which was the counter effect of the greater magnetic force, which was the dropping of the pebble. Now let's remove the pebble from the scenario and replace it with its true representation. This greater magnetic force, known as the unified field, would be more intangible and perceivable when we understand that this is the mind, and this is how it looks and it operates. Thus, the greatest magnetic force is mind, or what we call nous. Its sphere is will. Will is synonymous with watts, because with will determines the power output of the mind. Let's observe and meditate upon the word magic and its connection to another similar word, which is magnetics. Magic etymology and origin is in magnetics. As magnetics produce physical illusions of magic, the disruption of these forces create what is known as energy in our reality. To overstand, let's imagine a spool or thread, but this thread is entwined with copper. Now, if we was to stuff the center of the spool of thread with carbon rods of iron, we can now take a magnet and wave it over the spool of thread, which is now a coil, and you would produce an electrical current. Look at the spool as the environment, that's potential energy, and the magnet, the kinetic energy or the condition we're living in. Together, these produce a third force, which is alien to our spheres, a new sphere or imbalance. This can be more perceived and understood by realizing mind is magnetics. Thus, mind is always attracting and repelling. We attract and we trap microscopic subatomic heavy metal particles that eventually accumulate and become disorders or disharmony in our subspheres of balance and harmony. In other words, our yin and yang is our right and left hemisphere. These are the conditions created. Too many spheres causes disharmony, not just within the body but also in nature and our lives. Grounding and balancing starts with taking a deep breath. What is that deep breath that equalizes pressure, aka forces? The answer would be prana, a life-sustaining substance. Although prana is air, air is not prana. Magnetic itself is translucent fluid, symbolized as silver, gold, clear, flame blue, or very light blue. If one could actually observe magnetics, you would be observing frequencies free floating in a substance. Frequencies are composed of subtle colors. They travel on slow-moving waves that is fixed and immovable. Magnetics penetrate the fabric of reality as the sixth element after ether, which is known as the fifth element. A mind that is unconscious is only electrical. A conscious mind is magnetic. If mind is the fluid, what caused the waves? The answer is thoughts. Thoughts create the waves. What is the substance of thoughts? Rings, circles, spheres. The unity of field is a stage of rings to pop in and out of reality. These creates the wave effect. Let's meditate upon the rings. What are the rings and how they perceive from thoughts? Rings are the individuality of the mind. A sea and one's thought is applied to mind, the thought individualizes itself from the whole sea and spirals start to occur. This inertia increase in momentum which produces its own individual thought field, commonly termed thought forms, starts to manifest. If we was to observe thoughts to come into manifestation from the unified field, you would be witnessing a spiral of energy that start off flat, one-dimensional in form, but upon spinning starts to process of algorithms that mutates the energy every 15th degree within one cycle. That would be equivalent to looking at a clock and dividing it into 4 15-minute slices. With each of the 4 key points, the energy form a different shape. So for you to understand what I just said, you're looking at within one circle, it turns to the Platonic solid. It's going to be triangle, square, rectangle, and it keeps going around to it does the whole thing over. This is like going like that one time, and that one time it did that whole sequence, and that's what we're looking at. So I'm saying that's what I'm putting down here so you understand it. It says with each of the four key points, the energy forms a different shape. There is 15 shapes slowly mutated into the fixed 15. We know those key shapes as the five Platonic solids. The five and the seven tones or the seven colors of the rainbow. Sound is light and light is sound. All is vibratory frequent function, vibratory, vibratory frequency on the field of inertia building up the structure because a standing column wave that produces a toroidal field. For you to understand what I'm saying, it's a wave. Mind is a wave, is just a sea wave. And until thought gets into it, the waves start to move. With it starting to move, when you individually think, you first spin as a one-dimensional circle that eventually builds up, and what you become is what's called an electron. When we could observe it, that's like the particles. We observe it when it leaves the wave, and we start seeing the spheres of it. And so when it spins to a sphere, that's when we observe it. But before it turns to a sphere that we could see as an atom, it becomes first a toroidal field, a donut, and that's how it builds up its energy in its form to make what we call as a proton, a neutron, even a subatomic particle, depending on how much energy is being applied. So that's what this is basically saying, so you understand what a toroidal field is. A toroidal field is a donut with a circle in it, but with energy emanating from the circle of the donut, making another circle around it. All right. So now a toroidal field, a standing donut, complete with form. Light and sound, in other words, a portal. That's what that becomes when it comes to that, or a black hole. Those are portals and black holes, which is what cells are. Cells are portals and black holes. So you travel within those with your consciousness. Now, something starts to occur at this point. It cannot stay fixed in the wave. That's the blinking in and blinking out at half the speed of the wave. When this occurs, a strange anomaly occurs that one sphere or ring, which can be identified as a quantum level as particles, strings, quakes, or electrons and protons, or on the atomic scale, seem to appear everywhere at the same time. There seems to be a split in the first sphere from 1 to 2 sphere, then 3. Then it collapses and resets itself again. Let's meditate on your body and organs, your hair, fingers, nails, and skin. Although your skin, your body, you do not, I don't know, although you're in your body, you do not feel or notice how your whole body renews itself every 7 years. Every cell on your body is replaced yearly. Most parents watch their child grow, but the child have no perception of their own transformation. Puberty is the crossover to adulthood. That stage is the most easy to observe. Changing occur but still remaining to look, feel, and from inside the observer remain the same. Thoughts is thought. 1 second. Um, Hold on 1 second. 1 second, please. Let me get this. Hello? Let me see if I can mute something here. 1 second. Hello? Yes, brother. Yeah? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me end this real quick. Listen, I'm going to continue this with y'all on the next one. Give me a second and I'll be right back. This is important, okay? University of Conscious Science. One love.